Thank you all so much. Everybody has what they love, and that piece of music is pretty amazing to me. It's one of those that reaches back into my high school days, and I've done it many times, and I never failed to love the melodies that come out of that. But you can see through all of the solos that had to happen in those four movements, the depth of talent and the passion that goes into this, because none of this happens by itself. We think about our young musicians, those in grade school and junior high and high school, and they go home and practice to get better. Well, so do these guys, and it's not because they need to get better, it's because they have dedication to their art, and anything that we do requires that. Those of you that have been following us on Facebook, and it may have been in the paper, I know we were in the paper, I didn't catch what all was put in there. But our concert tonight, at least partially, is in honor and memory of our good friend Jim Clark, who passed away this last spring. Duck was a member of this band for many years, and incredibly active in the Cheyenne music scene. This group is kind of a family, and just like any family out there, we have our passions, and sometimes we fight, and sometimes we joke, and sometimes we cry, and all of those things. But that's the beautiful thing about community, and a community like ours. The fact that you're out here sharing this with us, despite the fact that it rained earlier, but it's a perfect evening here in Cheyenne, and we couldn't be luckier. There's nowhere I'd rather be. So, Dr. Clark, trombone player, that's how I knew him, of course, but rumor has it he actually had a career in the ministry. Actually, it's not a rumor, it's true. But as far as I was concerned, he was the trombone player in Cheyenne. When I was growing up, that's what I knew him as. And I was fortunate enough to be a colleague and a friend with him for many years, and we played together in lots of ensembles. Doc was among the people that was one of the first members of the Cheyenne Symphony when it's converted from a community ensemble similar to what this is to a professional symphony. He was one of our very few folks from Cheyenne proper that actually made that transition, because he was a professional musician. His beginning career before he went into the ministry was as an Army bandsman in the U.S. Army Field Band. So in 1945 and in 1946, Doc was actually in the field band before there was a field band, because it was called a couple of other things. And thanks to a little research from both Mary and Craig and my dear friend Robin, who does all of the work so that I look smart, I want to tell you a little bit about this. And I've got a surprise even for her, I think. So at the age of 17, enlisted in the Army, because at that point in time, obviously, World War II was upon us. But they sent him to school for a year, because he was only 17 when he enlisted. So he did that, and then went to the Army band, which at that point in time, I'm going to get this wrong, I think was called, help me, First Combat Division Band, and then Ground Forces something or other band, and then it became the U.S. Army Field Band. And Dr. Clark was in the band throughout that transition. And for those of you that don't know, the U.S. Army Field Band is one of the Washington, D.C. bands that does all of the major ceremonies and things. As you know, the Marine Band is the President's own. The U.S. Army Field Band, I believe, is the Vice President's own. Does that sound right to those of you in the know here? I believe that's right. I'd have to actually get online and check, but I think that's correct. Google would have told me that, but I forgot to look. And because I've been fortunate in my career and have made some good friends around the country, I have a surprise actually tonight even for Robin. Colonel Tim Holton is the current conductor of the U.S. Army Field Band and happens to be a friend of mine. I might not call him Tim when we were around other people, but when I'm emailing him, I can actually do that, and it's an honor to be on a first-name basis with the commander of that band. So I emailed him this morning because I forgot to do this sooner, and he emailed me back. So I'd like to read this, if I can. He says, after a few other things that were kind of funny to read about the formation of the field band, he says, on behalf of the U.S. Army Field Band, I'm not going to be able to do this, I would like to express my condolences to the family and friends of Dr. Clark, and hope that he will be fondly remembered and closely held in the hearts of all who knew him. Sorry. I am proud to serve in the same unit where he once served, and hope that he would be proud of both his service and of the organization that has grown from that of our greatest generation's founding members. All best, Colonel Tim Holton, U.S. Army Field Band. So yeah, there's always a few tears in a family squabble, but mostly it's jokes and we like to laugh and celebrate. So we're actually going to end tonight's concert differently than we planned because I had to make a last-minute change. And so it seemed fitting. This music tonight has all been about classics of band literature, mostly concert band literature. And although we played a couple marches, they weren't really recognizable as marches. So it seemed fitting, given I don't know how many thousands of times Doc would have played Stars and Stripes, both in uniform and out. But it seemed fitting for us to bring back this piece from our first concert of the year and end with something that you will actually recognize rather than some of the things that we played tonight. So please join us, and thank you for coming out tonight. We have our last concert of the season 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, 21st, and it's all going to be big band swing music. So a lot of fun to hear, and it's not going to rain, and so bring your friends and your dancing shoes, and the grass won't be soggy, maybe. So we're going to end tonight with the Stars and Stripes Forever.